What up, y'all? It's PBJ back at it again with another video. So, on this episode, arm wrestling class, it'll be episode 2. Y'all read the comment? So this time, we're not going to be analyzing an arm wrestling video, but rather telling you beginners how to improve yourself, your connection with your arms, everything, to prepare yourself for an arm wrestling match. What can you do to prepare yourself for an arm wrestling match? Let's get right to it. This series is going to be no BS, no lies, no nothing. I'm going to tell it to you straight up, tell you exactly what it is. So, there is no gimmick to being strong at arm wrestling. There is no secret, anything like that. The main thing you have to remember in an arm wrestle, like we talked about in episode 1, is keeping everything close, okay? Once you have everything close, wrist flexion, you're either pulling back or you're coming forward, okay? So you're either coming inside, you're going outside. Every other move is a variation of those two. So, you're a beginner, you don't need to even worry about any of that. You could know no technique, anything like that, and still be strong. And let me tell you how that is possible. Strengthen your strength. Strengthen your strength. Now I know this might sound basic, and I know you might be looking at your screen like, what are you talking about? Let me elaborate really quickly. In arm wrestling, there are people that have never arm wrestled in their entire life, really, maybe once when they were a kid. And I would go to the park earlier in the summer, and I would verse them in an arm wrestling match. And they would be very strong, not knowing any technique, not knowing anything. Now, why is this? Because they had general strength. A lot of the things that arm wrestlers lack is they're only focusing on arm wrestling specialized movements. And the reason why that's not such a good thing is because then they only have the one lane, okay? A lot of times it's only pronation that they're focusing on, so that's when you're bending your wrist this way. And, so that means palm down, okay? So just think of pronation as palm down. And then, they're focusing on all these specialized movements. And then, somebody that's really big and strong could still beat them not knowing anything. The reason for this is because they have so much general power. And it's something that Devin Larratt, one of the most popular, if not the most popular arm wrestler of all time, he calls it peak strength. So what he calls peak strength usually is, the fundamentals of arm wrestling. But that can also mean, in my opinion, general strength. So we're talking bench press, we're talking pull-ups, we're talking compound movements, we're talking bicep curls, things that make you stronger generally, okay? Now, preferably in the arms, hopefully, right? So I'm gonna give you, okay, Cyberskin 1, to respond to your comment. I'm gonna give you a couple exercises that I want you to do, and you let me know if it helps you. These are what I've noticed have helped me specifically, just improve my arm wrestling drastically. And I feel that, obviously technique has to go with strength, but to talk about preparing yourself means two things. It means 1, showing up with the strength to pull off the technique, and 2, learning the technique. So if you really want to learn technique, there's a lot of videos online of people talking about, how to top roll, how to hook, inside, outside moves. But the main thing that I want you to focus on if you're a beginner is going to be general strength. So the first movement that I recommend is pull-ups. Any kind of pull-ups, anything. And if you for some reason cannot do pull-ups, a barbell rows. So this means a free weight of any kind. You can even get like milk jugs or something to your sides, and you're pulling it back, okay? And that's a compound movement with the barbell. And you're basically just doing rows. Look that up, how to do a barbell row. Do those or do pull-ups, okay? First thing. Second thing is either push-ups, bench press, or dips. And when I say dips, I don't mean like bench dips. I mean more like actual calisthenic athlete dips, meaning like your body is completely suspended in the air. You have two things, 2 parallel bars next to you, and with your entire body, you're coming up and down like that, okay? And essentially, these things, you know, so that's your basic pulling and pushing. And then you can add bicep curls in there. You can add wrist curls in there with a dumbbell. You can add all these things, but for me, what I've noticed is the basic pulling and pushing movements, basic pulling and pushing compound movements, tongue twister. Those are gonna help your general strength the most, and at least from what I've noticed in arm wrestling. You want everything to work together as a chain, okay? And that's why compound movements are so good for arm wrestling, because you're using everything together. When you truly know technique, when you've spent some time in the sport, you realize that everything plays a role, you know? Your shoulder, your bicep, your brachialis, your tricep, your brachioradialis, okay? Your elbow tendon, okay? Everything plays a role. Your lat, everything like throughout, your pec even plays a role. So in my opinion, work on some general strength when it comes to, you know, compound movements. Calisthenics, I've noticed, have some very great compound movements. They can be a bit difficult for beginner lifters though. For me, I could just naturally do pull-ups and dips, so I don't know if that's for everyone, but figure out some variation or another. You know, that's why the free weights are nice too, because you can literally just do the bar, which is 45 pounds. Anybody can do that. And yeah, so I hope that was able to help. This has been Arm Wrestling Class Episode 2, and that's about it from me. So you know those 2 words, or wait, like, comment, subscribe, and you know those 2 words I say at the end of every single video. Stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.